hello everywhere. You have right here is like talk about say for the date of birth, like for case sensitive, and other examples of more likely talk about right here. I talk about for case sensitive, and if anybody were to be wondering about that, yeah, that for case sensitive, that basically means to where any source of information is kept safe and secure. And one of those could be it's like you may think about as to where yeah, well, especially like on a Facebook page to where that few of your friends or whoever that maybe know your birthday and you're like Warren to where yeah, the people that know the day and time whenever you were born and back in the earlier days to where that maybe only a few people, or maybe that it could have been maybe on a birth certificate or something like that. And just thinking about as to where that, let's just say that if like an ID, a lot of times, why do people get student IDs and as well as driver's licenses or anything like that? They necessarily have them just because, well, that source of information proves that you were from out of state. Let's just say if you were living in the state of Nebraska, but then you're originally from Iowa or maybe New York City. So you're like thinking about why else do you think that you would need to carry an ID for, huh? Is it really because of proof about the date of birth, or is it about, well, we need to know what state, what city and state that you're from, especially if you're from the Northwest or from the South, or from up towards the East Coast or something like that. Maybe part of originally from parts of Canada. If you're originally from Canada, but then you're living here in the United States. Like say for like the date of birth though is like maybe from Hawaii or Alaska, but then you're living up toward up in the North Coast or somewhere like that. So parts of New Jersey or Maryland or other states. So we're like Warren to where, yeah, that after we turn about maybe 17, 18 years of age, we're like thinking about is to where, yeah, well, the birthdays are not supposed to be about the candles and then the birthday cake and then the ice cream and cake or something like that. That stuff gets to be too old. But I'm just thinking about the stuff that more likely is going to last for as what you call is like until we turn at least 50 or at least 65 or 70 years old. Whenever we file our taxes, we may think that, yeah, a date of birth, yeah, you went to a concert on your birthday, or you may have had, you can maybe remember that on your birthday that you went to a party and they had the balloons and they had the birthday cake and opening the presents, something like that. So you're like Warren to where, yeah, a lot of security questions they may ask you about. Do you remember from back in the 1997? What was your one of your birthday presents? And did they fit? Did anybody fix you any type of special dessert items or anything like that? Do you remember what restaurant that you went to? Stuff like that. So we're like Warren to where other sources of information to where they said be kept confidential. But let's just say on average to where you have right here's an example right here of like, yeah, we may have seen this more than a dozen times right here is like with me right here at the birthday cake right here, like on a high chair. It is back in 1985. And let everybody know that, yeah, that what kind of technology do we have back in 1985? And I'm sure anybody probably say, well, we probably did not have very many of the high-tech monitors, or as well as, yeah, the digital technology such as, maybe the, Illustrator and Photoshop programs or stuff like that. But on your hand, that we're like Warren Tour, about every 6 months, it seems like it's important to keep our stuff safe and secure. And we're like Warren to where, yeah, case sensitive is to where anything that's kept confidential, such as a birthday and when a security question, stuff like that. And you're like thinking about really that if we were to be looking at this right here is to where that we type in an answer and then sometimes they are quite, it's like anything that don't match the for what's on security file that maybe run into some problems as well. But let's just say that one of the security questions will be like, well, what school did you go to, and how far did your education go to, what year did you receive your grade book, and what was your favorite picture from back in 89 or something like that, from on your 5th birthday. They would ask you security questions kind of like that, or if you want to go ahead and enter in one, imprint one, of your choice. So I guess they say that it's like, for any case sensitive source of information. And we may think that, oh yeah, a birthday is not really case sensitive because on your hand, you're talking about that, quite a few people that, you may think about, well, it don't bother me just thinking about is like, my date of birth, my birthday is, of course, is posted on my profile that they, more likely that, which I know that nowadays, with even bills, if you pay bills, that they ask for information such as last 4 digits of your social and as well as maybe date of birth, stuff like that. So we're like, well, for extra security purposes, it's just to think about. It's like, just to, ask. It's like, why do you need that information? For security purposes and as well as for any background information. So we're like Warren to where I don't know if I would say that, yeah, that, you just created this document right here. I'm like, you just made that up. But then it's like thinking about what I had picked right here as example right here of like this will be like a sticker, like a tag right here to where that this right here, this spot right here alone would be like an example right here of like a security tag. So anybody probably say, yep, if you're just looking at this portion right here of the identification and like for date of birth is like so far as for DOB is that for the date of birth, and then we just see this part right here. But then I may say that yep, well, it's in case of somebody else asks as to where that the school that you went to and as well as any other sources of background information about first job, first car, stuff like that, and your first toy or maybe favorite cartoon TV show, stuff like that. Like we say that they say, well, a lot of stuff to say case sensitive to where mainly the person whose name is on it as well as for who's managing the site is to where that information to be kept secure on this tag here. And clicking on the tag right there and then allows it to where this person only would be able to see this stuff. So you're like Warren to where that any source of information, if it's going to be credit score or anything like that, and you're like wondering, yeah, well, if I was born between the hours of midnight and 1 o'clock on the 29th or whatever you call it, or between the 27th and the 28th, do you think that'll make a difference? But on your hand, that you're like Warren to where that they anything they're more likely that we try to do, such as for date of birth. That may not be a big deal to almost anybody, anybody who works real hard and thinking about, oh yeah, you're turning a year older. No big deal, really. But on your hand too, have we ever thought about is to where that every 6 months or so, whenever we have a birthday, we turn a year older, right? But then one of our tasks could be, it's like maybe every 5 days or maybe every 10 days, is to just do what we can just to make sure our stuff is safe and secure. And with a lot of stuff that I talked about with my education, and anybody say, yeah, there was one time to where, yep, it was kept safe and secure in a folder to where, really, nobody really, it was not visible on the Facebook page or anything like that. But let's just say on average to where anything that's case sensitive. And you're like, Warren, to where, yep, for our own security, one of those could be, it's like, yeah, if anybody were to find out about the date of birth, you're like Warren to where, yeah, I didn't know that of was a word, or like the date of birth, I didn't think that was such a big deal, to where we don't think that anybody would have access to any information such as to where that, maybe medical history or, any other type of confidential information. But the way I think about it, though, is like really is to where that I think it's also important just to keep an eye on it, for like text alerts to where if we think that our information is not managed properly, is at least to say something. And if anything, to say that, well, that information, of course, is not yours. It's just like the copyright information, any birthdays or other source of information, I think it should be kept confidential. And if anything, approved by the person is to where that this is what we use the information for. Anybody may wonder that. I'm like, yeah, buying a house or, applying at, a school, or if it's maybe buying a car or applying for a credit card, more likely they're going to ask, for, source of information. And it's not really going to be about, oh yeah, if you're from New York City, yeah, you can get approved, but on your hand too, one source of information I know a place to do ask for a lot of times is the date of birth. But other than that, like for case sensitive, basically making sure, doing the best we can, make sure our stuff is safe and secure for protection. But other than that, like I talk about here for date of birth, it's like case sensitive. Thanks for watching.